All right, this is the calf grab drill onto the mat. So this is a high jump mat. You can also use a pole vault mat. The whole concept of this is that transition from the flight getting into the landing. And we want to get full extension and actually grab our calves on this drill to simulate folding from the hips and getting full extension when we're in the air. So I'm going to show you the drill, then I'll explain how we set it up and why we do it. So I'm at a 4-step approach. I'm a left-footed jumper. So I'm going to take right, left, penultimate jump, flight phase, and then I'm going to grab my calves in the air. All right, so that is the calf grab drill. So what are we doing? Well, just a recap of a few drills that we've already talked about in some of the other lessons. But remember the concept of ribs to thighs. Take my hands, put it here under the ribs, and I'm going to try to touch my thighs. But before I do that, I like to come up to my athletes and say, hey, touch your toes, right? So the athletes come down and they'll say it like this, right? And I'm like, man, that's pretty hard to touch your toes, especially if you're not very flexible. I'm like, but I can touch my toes. Watch this. I'm like, oh, this is nice and easy. I just bend my legs. I'm like, well, what's the difference, right? So I say, hey, everybody touch your hands under your ribs, and then I want you to touch your ribs to your thighs. And what do? They're not going to do this. They're going to bend their knees to let them actually get their thighs to touch their ribs, which is part of the thighs to the ribs drill. So what I want to do now is to say, okay, we're going to try to do that in the air. And then once we do that, we're going to try to actually grab our calves. And that's going to work on this. So many athletes come down, and when they jump in the air and then they just put their foot here, we want them to come here and then actually extend upward. You don't want to just put your foot down. As you pull your feet out in front of you, you want to almost like you're switching upwards, right? Boom, 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 boom. You're coming up. So what we can do is as they come up, we're gonna have them try to grab their calves to get into this position. It also helps them not try to do it from their back. You rarely see them actually try to grab it from their back. They'll tend to bend their hips to do it. So it's subconsciously teaching them how to get in that position. So I'll have them start as a broad jump and just jump and try to grab their calves. So here, and they'll try to jump and grab their calves. So that's the first step. Second thing is I'll have them do it from just like a 2-step. So left foot forward, right, left, and just try to do it. So jump, and I want them to jump, just try to grab your calves. So here. Okay, they did it. Now, I'll have them say, okay, now go back to a 4-step. Whether you're hitching, whether you're sailing, you can still do the same drill. So I'll show you a hitch kick, and I'll still grab my calves, and then I'll show you a sail. So here's a hitch kick. Still grabbing my calves. Now, I'll show you a stride, which is where my foot's gonna be just holding out in front of me, and I'll bring my left leg up to match. Still be able to get into that position. Right? Now, once you do this on the mat, then you'll go out and do the sand. I have a whole nother video on calf grabs into the sand.